Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I will be making a fall harvest ladder. So let me show you what the supplies are going to be. Alright everyone, I have a number of items here on my table. The majority of these items are from the Dollar Tree. I'll let you know that right now, so I don't have to keep telling you. So if anything's not from the Dollar Tree, I'll let you know. So just keep in mind, the Dollar Tree, each item is only $1. You can find your supplies wherever you like. Maybe you have some stuff at home that you can repurpose and recycle for this particular project. Now, I've seen a few videos where they're creating these decorative ladders. I've actually always wanted one of these ladders, and I kind of want to make one out of actual wood. But I wanted to challenge myself and see if I can do one with items from the Dollar Tree that someone else has not already used. So I'm thinking and hoping that this is my idea, not to make the ladder, but you know, with what to use to make the ladder. Okay, so I went through Dollar Tree because I was remembering that they do have brooms and things like that, because I wanted a long, you know, something, either a wooden stick or something to use for the sides of my ladder. And so I went to the broom section, and they only had these little metal brooms. So I went ahead and I grabbed 2 of these. And of course I'll be removing the sweeper part of it. You'll see me doing that in a moment. Okay, so then I wanted to do something to go across the ladders, and I found these over the door hangers. And what I did is I bought 3 of these. And then I bought a little assortment of the little bushes. I bought 2 with some sunflowers, a couple with some leaves, and then I had some leftover bits from another project. So I've already actually taken all of these, and I've already cut them into individual stems rather than little bushes, and I put them in my little jar so they're ready to grab. I've got some other items that are also left over from another project. I've got raffia, some of this shredded, it's called Excelsior, or you can use like a Spanish moss, whatever you want to use. I've got these little leaves that I'm going to be using as well, the individual. These are all like little maple leaves, and they're different colors, so you might want to grab some of those if you want to decorate it the way that I'm going to decorate it. I've also got some twine here, just a single, you know, kind of natural colored thin twine. I have some leftover ribbon from a couple of years ago or a year ago, I don't recall, but I'm going to use that as well. I purchased me this little scarecrow. I thought he was really cute. I thought I'd use him in there somehow. I've got some little pumpkins here. I may not use all of them, but I thought I'd grab an assortment of them, and then I can just decide what I want to use, whether I'm going to use it for this project or another. But for this project, I also grabbed these 2 little baskets. I thought would be cute to hang off from the hooks, and maybe put some of these items in there. Alright, I also got this cute little sign. It's got some sunflowers. It says give thanks. You can grab whichever one you want, or maybe instead of this, maybe do a little wreath to go on your ladder. And that's why I chose these sunflowers, because there's sunflowers in the picture and they kind of coordinate. So that's why I chose that. I'm going to be using some styrofoam, also from the Dollar Tree. The only thing that I did not get from the Dollar Tree is some spray paint, because I have decided that I want to spray paint my ladder in a brown, and this is a paint that I can use on metal. So you just want to make sure that you get yourself the appropriate type of spray paint. If you don't want to spray paint and you want to leave it white, go right ahead. Okay, I'm also going to be using some heavy-duty wire cutters. It's going to be really important that you get that. You're going to need scissors. I've got my hot glue gun here ready, and some glue sticks. I just remembered that I was going to use something else. I'm going to use some little tie backs. So I'll grab those, and of course I'll show you as we go along. So let me share with the first step, and let's get to crafting. Okay, right here I've got the 2 brooms, so I'm going to be removing the sweeter part of the broom. You can actually just use this like for on your counters like that. Just a little broom to sweep. So save them if you want. And at the handle, it's got these here, and these just pop right off. You just got to pull on them like that. And I'm actually going to use the part that has this little plastic bit here. This was a little hard to pull off because they did make some little holes in here to indent into the plastic to hold it in so it doesn't pop out. but I'm going to go ahead and leave that there, and I'm actually going to cover that, so I'm not going to worry about it. This is going to be at the bottom also, because since it's plastic and I'm going to be cover them, they won't scratch my floors if I decide to lean them up against on the floor against the wall. And this part is metal, and I don't want that scratching up against. But you can decide what you want to use, because you could actually just maybe put some felt here on the bottom so that they won't be scratching your floor. Okay, this can either be, you know, something that you can hang on the wall, or you could put on the floor. So that'll be your decision. Okay, I've taken the little parts off. Let's go to the next bit. Okay, so I said I bought 3 of these, and I want to put these between my 2 I'm going to call these the ladder posts. So I'm going to take this one right here, for example, and I want to put this between. So this is going to tell me how separate my ladder is going to be, and it's a pretty wide ladder. And I bought 3 of them because I didn't know if I wanted 2 or 3, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure I want the 3 of them. So I'm going to just separate them according to the length of my ladder here, and you can decide, you know, how high and how low and how separate you want them to be. I will move the camera so that you can see this a little bit better. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be placing this here. Now, here's a decision that you can make. Let me remove this tag off of this one for now. This is what it looks like. These are over the door hangers, as you can see here. It's got this little part. Now, if you decide that you would like to hang your little ladder, which is going to make a great little utility thing this is almost rolling off the table. Okay, get it over here. Okay, so if you decide that you want to use this as something that you want to hang over your door, then maybe this one, you want to remove these top hooks so that then you can hook it off the top of your door, and then you can just adjust this and place it way up in the top. Okay, and then the other 2 can be a little bit lower. But I'm going to remove mine because I actually do want it to look like a ladder, and I'm going to be putting it on the floor. It's not going to go on the door, but I intend to redo this project as a over-the-door storage item. Okay, so I took this and I took the hook part off. I went ahead and I tested it, and I wanted to make sure that I could also take these little hooks off as well. Now, let me go ahead and move the camera so that you can see what I'm talking about as far as the width of this ladder. So I shall be back. All right, so let me explain. You can either have it like super wide and use the complete length of these over-the-door hangers, like so. But I want it to look like a ladder, and this is way too far considering the length of my broomsticks here, or the sides of my ladder. So I kind of want it to be a little bit less. So I want it to be to the point where I have this hanger right here, because I want it to end in one of these little bits here. I want to have that, so that's going to be able to get tied onto the sides here. So I have to go as far in as that. So I'm going to end up cutting this length. And I'm okay with that because I like the look of it like that. And then of course I have the 2 hooks that I want to use, because I was going to end up pretty much removing all of these hooks. Now, if you like it a little bit wider and maybe you want, you know, to use, just remove this little bit, just one of them, and then leave this whole length. So it just depends. But we are going to take the hooks that are on the ends and leave either 3, or we're going to cut it down here and leave 2. So let me think about that, because I do like the idea of the 3, but my little baskets hang on just 2. So I'm going to go with the 2 for now. Let me go ahead and grab my sign that I'm going to put on here. Okay, so I've decided that yes, I'm going to go ahead and go with my initial decision, where I'm just going to leave 2 hooks and the rest of them I'm going to cut off. So I'm going to cut off, actually I could just cut it off right here instead of cutting over here and over here. So I only do 1 cut. I'm going to cut up to, there was 1 hook here, so I'm going to cut off 1, 2 hooks and then go over, and then I'm going to cut off these 2 hooks, okay? So I'll show you how to do that. It's very easy if you got some nice wire cutters. Now, to remove the, let me grab one that has the over the door hooks on it. And then I'll do the same with that one in a minute, but I'm starting off fresh. Okay, what you're going to do is you get your cutters, get them right on the edge, and then you're going to want to manipulate this by moving it back and forth, because that gets the metal a little warm, and it's easy to just snip right off, okay? And you can do the same thing with the hook on the bottom. But I'm going to do the top hooks first. Just move them back and forth until they just come right off. And it makes a nice clean removal. There's a little bit of like the plastic coating that they put on here. You can snip that off with your scissors or with the wire cutters. And remember, this is all going to get spray painted. Alright guys, like I said, I'm going to go with 4 so that I end up with just 2 hooks on mine, and then I'm separating them just to see how that's going to look. And I really do like that. I like the distance that it has. I think that if I went a little too wide, it might look a little too awkward, and it won't look like a little ladder. So I think this is going to be good. Okay, so you saw me remove the hooks on the top, and I've gone ahead and I've done it for all of them. And I decided that I just want the 4 hook length. I'm not going to keep 4 hooks. I'm just saying 4 hook length, because if you buy this exact over the door hanger from the Dollar Tree, you'll know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, whatever you purchased, use that and use the measurement according to what you bought. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the hooks that I don't want to keep. I'm starting the end over here. And just like I did the one that goes over the door, the hooks in the bottom where you hang things, you twist them back up and down until they come off like that. I want to keep these 2, so I need to remove this one. I'm not going to worry about removing this because I'm going to be cutting it right here. And there, that one came off. Any little plastic bits? It's like it has like a little plastic coating on the wire, so you'll have that. So just trim that off with your wire cutters or use some scissors. Okay, so now I want to cut it right here so that I have this part only, just like I have this one. And this is going to be a little bit harder because you got 2 pieces, and this might come off, okay? It might come off of these. So don't worry about that. You can glue it back together. Okay, now that I've cut into a little bit and I've bent it, I'm going to do this now manually. Just go up and down until it comes off, okay? So there we go. You could probably do this with some pliers. It might work, but I found that my heavy-duty wire cutters are best. So that's what we want. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I pulled out my little tie backs, these little plastic little, you can just slide this into the other end and then just pull it tight and it will stay in position. These I got them from the Dollar Tree as well. I've had these for a while, so I had a package and different sizes, and I like the smaller one, so I'm going to use that. They're black, but that's okay because I'm going to spray paint everything, and that'll get spray painted. Okay, so I've got them on here on my desk here. More or less the distance that I want them to be, and I want there to be a good amount of distance at the bottom. This is pretty much where my hand, I don't know if you can see this. Let me move this over. By the way, guys, I fell just a moment ago off of my chair, and quite a bit of time went by because my husband had to come. I thought I hurt myself really bad. I'm in a lot of pain. That's all I'm going to say. I had to put some ice on me, but I'm going to finish this video. And hopefully you'll get it on time. Anyway, so here's the bottom. You can see it on here in the camera space. Okay, so then I want plenty of space on the bottom. I don't want anything to be like too close to the bottom. So what I want to do is this side, I want to put it up here. I want to hang it from here, but I'm probably going to tighten this up a little bit tighter so it hangs really nice and close right here. And it's right here. And then I want these little baskets to hang off here. And they can overlap a little bit on top of, you know, this part right here. That'll be okay. And then I want this one to be right here. And then you saw those little leaves that I showed you, individual leaves that I have in that little packet. What I want to do is I want to take some of the twine and make like a little garland, and then I'm going to put that up here. Maybe intertwine it on the side here so that will kind of cover up this right here and then kind of come off the sides a little bit. Okay, and I'll show you how I do that. But this is how I'm deciding how far apart I want everything. So this is more or less, and I've already kind of done a little measurement, and I've decided that about 9 inches from this point here to the top. So that's how I'm going to measure them. Let me go ahead and remove these items out of the way. I am going to spray paint the baskets as well, okay? They're going to get spray painted brown. Okay, so I've got 4 for each of these because I want to put 2 on each side to make sure they're grabbing on here well. So I'm going to take the first one, so we don't have to worry about these. I'm going to take the first one, and let me see, which way do they go actually? Because sometimes you think you have it right and then it's not. Okay. I'm going to put this on here, and actually I'm going to be directing these towards the, how should I say, towards the back. I need to also make sure that I tie this back here. So this here is going to actually, the end of it, this little bit here is actually going to be at the back. Okay, so just pull this as tight as you can. Let's see, this way. And do 2. And then you can use like a super glue or an E6000 glue to make sure that it doesn't, you know, it won't slide up and down. So this is nice and tight. I'm going to use my glue gun though to temporarily do this. Okay, just want to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, then I want to do the other side. So we're just working from the back, okay? I want to put this on here. And I want to measure. And that's about 5 inches down. So I want to do this one the same. 5 inches right here. Okay, and because this hook is obviously not gonna, these are not gonna rest level on the table because of the thickness here of these hooks, so it's gonna raise these up a little bit. So that's what you're seeing happening right now. Alright, so I've gotten this tied down. I probably should have used the longer little tie back since I'm having a little bit of trouble getting this on here with these shorty ones, so I'm probably gonna grab the longer ones if I can remember where I stuck them. Yeah, they're right here. I've got these a little bit longer. They're going to get trimmed off anyway, so I'm not going to worry about the length. And I think I dropped the other 4 on the floor, but that's okay. I'll pick some up in a minute. I don't think I grabbed enough of these. Okay. So now I want to do the same that I did this one, the way that I attached it here. And by the way, once you've got it tight where you need it, and you can't tighten it anymore, then you can go ahead and grab your scissors or your wire cutters, whichever tool you want to use, and trim off. Make sure you leave a little tiny bit of a nub there. And just trim off these bits here. Okay. There we go. We're just going to twist them inward a little bit so they won't be scratching the wall. Okay. Now I'm going to do the other one, and I said I wanted about 9 inches apart. So I'm going to measure from this bottom to the top one here on this one. And I kind of place it right about the right measurement. So I'm going to do 9 inches. So then when I get this one tied down, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure 9 inches from this bottom to this top one. So then I'll know where to place this one. All right, so I'll be back once I got all these attached. All right, everyone, I have tied up my little ladder. Got these little hooks on them, all nice and tied up the way that I want them. So now I'm going to take this outside and spray paint it with the brown paint that I have here. I'm going to also spray paint these little baskets. And while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and get started on another little project. I've gone ahead and I've done some measuring of the width of my ladder and then the length. So I want to do like a little garland, and I'm going to maybe work with maybe 4, maybe 5 feet of length. So we'll see how that works out. I'll be back and we'll be working on that next. And then I'll bring these items in and we'll put it all together. Okay, so to create my garland, I've got some of this twine. And I'm going to measure out about 4 feet. I measured about 3 feet, the length that across my little ladder, and then going down about 3 feet, the length that I wanted it to go. But because I wanted to have a little bit of slack to it, so that maybe some of it can hang a little bit on the other side of the ladder, and then, you know, be able to be kind of loosely twisted around it, I decided maybe 4 or 5 feet. So here I've got a measurement of 3 feet. I'm going to go ahead and go with 5 right here. Okay. So you just measure out however, you know, length you want, or whatever length you want. And this is my garland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little leaves here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and then put the string on it. I'm going to leave a little bit of a edge, you know, a little length on the end here, and then just start gluing leaves on there in any way, shape, or form that you want to. I'm just gonna kind of mix them up here. I had 2 packages, by the way, so I'm just mixing them up. I don't know if I need 2 packages, but I wanted enough where I could mix. Put some facing the other direction as well, like that. And I'm doing some, I'm looking to see which looks to me like it's the back of the leaf, and it has like a little bit of texture to it, and it's got the little veins marked in there, and I can tell that this is the back. So that's what I'm doing. So that if you turn it around, this is the front. So that's what I'm doing, okay? And you can fill this up as heavily as you want or as thin as you want. It doesn't have to be, you know, completely covering the rope. So turn this around. Get another one. This is the front, so this is the back, at least as far as I think it is. So you decide yours. And as you can see, some of them are actually glued onto the other leaves rather than the strings. Just keep doing that. And if you want to do both sides, if you feel like you want to, okay, I want to grab another leaf and put it on the other side, just in case, you know, where, you know, it gets twisted around your little ladder, then put some on the other side. Let me put this one in a better position. Let me see. I think like that. It doesn't really matter, but there we go. Okay, let me do another one. And maybe I'm going to be doing the same thing. There we go. Now I'm going to build another little cluster. Now I can also take some raffia. I have some raffia here. Let's see, do I need my scissors for that? No, that's coming out. Okay. I've got some raffia here. You could also cut the same length of raffia and do that instead of the rope if you don't find the twine, or if you prefer the raffia, whichever, or use both, intertwine them both together. Or what you could do, sorry about that, they're mowing my lawn right now, so you're hearing the lawnmower. You could take some bits like this of raffia, and I'm just going to spread it out a little bit so it's not so thick. Here we go. Let me just grab these little bits. You can take a little bundle like that of raffia, and ever so often tie it around your garland. You don't even have to knot it. It's fine like that. If you think it's too long, trim it. Do them whatever length you want, and just add little clusters of raffia there. That'll help fill up your garland as well. So that's what I'm going to do, you guys. I am going to continue doing this for 5 feet, which is not too much. There we go. That's 5 feet right here. And I will be back. I'm going to leave the ends undone because I think I'm going to do like a little loop there. I'm not really sure. Or maybe I'll end up putting a leaf on it. We'll see. But I'll be back when that is done. Okay, so here's my garland already finished. I've put little leaves all the way down, put some raffia between the little clusters. I went ahead and I finished all the way to the very end of the rope. And then the other end, I just went ahead and I just trimmed it off. And there we go. My little garland. It's about 5 feet long, a little bit less because I did trim off the little rope. But that's the about the length that I've done. So you can either follow my measurement or do your own. And as you can see, I've got lots of little leaves left over for another project. Okay, everyone, so we're going to go on to the next little project to put together for our little ladder. So let me get all the items for that ready, and I'll be back. All right, so now I'm going to get a couple of little things prepared. So I'm going to make a bow, and I'm just cutting a chenille stem in half, or you can use a piece of wire for your bow. And I had these leftover bits of ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bow, get the one end, pinch it, and make a small loop like that. Pinch it together. So I have that little loop. And then I'm going to twist the ribbon because I want to make sure that the pretty side is on the outside. Otherwise, if I had it like this, I'd have this, the opposite, you know, the underneath part, and that's not the right side. So then we can't make a loop because it'll be like that. We'd have to make a loop like this, and of course, we can't go forward. We have to go under, or we can't go on top, but we have to go under. So in order to do that, we twist it to make sure the pretty side is up. And then we do the same thing like we did this one. Make a loop for a bow, pinch it, and then we're going to twist it again. So again, we have the pretty side up, and then we make another loop. And if you want to make sure that they're the same size, you bring them up like that, and that'll tell you if they're the same size loop, or you know, at least more or less. You can do the adjusting. Okay, so I think we have enough to do a couple more loops, so I'm going to twist it again, make another loop. Now this one I don't have to bring it up, I can just compare it to the one that I already have here that's already made. Got to give it a little bit of slack. They're the same size. Okay, I am pinching here, twisting again, and then making a loop over here. And there we go, and this is all that I have left, so I'm just going to pinch and twist, put a nice piece of chenille through it, and I'm putting it through here because I want this to grasp all of this that my fingers were pinching. Grab all of that. Now you can twist the wire and twist the bow so that it tightens towards the bow. Okay, so now I've got this pretty little bow. This little bit, I'm actually just going to do a little bit of a tail on it, a little dovetail cut on it, and just leave that. And then I can just separate the loops a bit like that, open them up, fan them out, and then poof them up. So poof up your bow. You can actually poof it up once you've got it tied to the item that you want to put it on, so you don't spend time poofing it now and then it gets squished. So here we are, a nice little bow. And I'm actually going to use the rest of this ribbon because it's going to be attached to the garland. So I'm going to get the two ends together, fold them, oops, fold them again from the fold up to the edges on the end, and then I have these dovetail cut. Okay, and this can be a tail that I can add, or actually I'm going to make one a little bit longer than the other, and then this one about so long, and then I can attach them to the back of the bow with the same chenille stem, and then, you know, like open up the chenille stem, like this is the back of it. Here's the chenille stems. Open them up, slide this in there, and then tie it around whatever you're going to tie it on, so that then the tails are also attached. And then you could just put the tail however you want. So we'll see how we'll do this once we have our little ladder inside. It's going to get attached, like I said, with the garland. Okay, that's one little project. The other one is to create something for inside of one of the baskets. So I'm going to put two of these together, and I'm going to put some glue and stick these two together, a bit like that, so it doesn't squeeze out and get on my table. Okay, so now that I've got those two put together like that, I'm going to put some glue on here. So I'm using 3 of these little bricks. This is a little packet of 4 of these little bricks that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I used one for another project, but I had the 3 left over, so I'm using that. And I'm just going to build that. That's what you see, okay? And this is going to be the bottom. That's what's going to go inside of the basket. And then on top of here is where I can stick some flowers into it and some greenery. So I'm going to go ahead and get these fall greenery that I got from the Dollar Tree. I know it's not green, but that's what it's called, greenery. And some floral stems that were on a bush, and I've cut them all up, so now they're all individual little stems. And I want to take them all out, so let me go ahead and put these over to the side. And now right on here, I'm going to make a little arrangement. My little baskets are still drying. I think I told you all I had a little accident during my whole video. And some hours have gone by, and I just barely went outside to finish painting a little bit more. So they're still drying. It's 7 p.m. guys, but I'm here. Anyway, so this is what I built as I showed you. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting some little flowers in there. Grab one. Let me get my wire cutters. I put them away. These right here. I'm just going to cut the stem a little bit because I don't really want it to be that long, and I don't want my arrangement to be that big because, as you saw, the little baskets are kind of close together, and I don't want this arrangement, you know, hitting onto the other one. So I'm going to put my first little flower kind of in the center, but as you can see, it's kind of angled towards what will be the front of my basket right here. Then I can take some more flowers, cut them as well, put it a little bit further behind, kind of sticking outward to the side. One more, same thing, but I'm putting some glue on them because I don't want them to come falling out. So then I also stuck that one to the side, and I'm going to put another one back here. So there we go, a fourth one. And like I said, I don't want to stick it in, I don't want it too high. I'm going to stick these in a little bit more actually, and then just stick this one down a little bit. Okay, so this is what I have so far. So when it's the baskets, they're inside the basket. Pretend my hand here is the basket. That's how they'll be. And if I have to do any trimming, I have room here to trim any of the styrofoam in case it's a little too white. Okay, so now I'm going to put some of these leaves in there. I'm going to grab the ones that have like 3. Well, this one has 4. But here we go. Put some glue on there. Stick it right between these flowers. Get the leaves to go in there like so. Let me get another one like that. See how it's got this extra and then the ones on the top. So I'm just pushing them up close to the ones on the top. This still had a little bit of the tag on it. And then of course I trim it as well. Some glue. I'll put it between these other 2 flowers. And then just push it in as far as I can, and also bring the leaves down so they fill in between the flowers, but they're not covering the flowers, okay? So let's add a little bit more. I'm going to grab this one that's only got 2 flowers, or 2 leaves on it. Cut it short. This one I'm going to place back here behind this flower. So I'm going to put it like at an angle, stick it in there. There you go. And then I'm going to put another one in front of this flower in the front. Okay? Again, I'm going to grab one with 2 leaves. I think this is going to be enough, you guys. I'm going to save the rest so that I can put them. Now, I would be making this little arrangement once I have my little baskets here, so make sure that everything's the right size, and I would attach the styrofoam onto the little baskets. But I'm doing it this way because, like I said, some hours have gone by, and now I'm waiting. I finally got out there to finish painting, so I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and make this and kind of more or less kind of guess the size of the little basket. So when we get the little basket, I'll just make any adjustments. But as you can see, you can do this too. We won't even have to attach it to the basket. We'll just stick it in there. That way, when the season changes, we can take this out of the basket completely like this, put it away like this if we want. Maybe put it in a little paper bag or something to keep it nice and clean, or a little plastic bag. Put it in your container where you put away your, you store away your fall, and then maybe recreate another one, but in a different season or a different occasion. Or maybe you want to use the little baskets, maybe to put some little hand towels in there, or some creams or things like that. Something that's not too heavy, that maybe you want to put that in your bathroom, or maybe in a room, and add some delicate, not heavy items on it. Okay. And as you saw that the little things that I put on there have little hooks, you could actually use that for jewelry. Okay, since we're not going to use all of these greenery that I had pulled out, I'm going to put it away. Oh, I actually have, in my jar, I actually have these little sprigs that look like wheat. So I think I might put those in there, but I'm going to save them once I get my basket in here. In the other basket, I want to put some of these pumpkins and this little guy here. And I think I'm going to use these 2 pumpkins because the basket's not very big, so you can't put too much in there. And then I'm going to use some of this here inside of the basket as well, or maybe even some of the raffia, because I also want to use this one to cover the styrofoam, because the basket, as you saw, they're like netting mesh, or you can see through them. So, we want to cover that up. And I'm going to save my other pumpkins that I got for another project. So I've got here, let's see, let me get these glue sticks out of the way. I'm still going to use this twine because I want to wrap, like I said, the bottom and the top edge. And I also want to use it to reinforce the little the hook racks that I put between the two posts from the on the sides, the ladder sides. We're going to call them rungs, they're ladder rungs. I want to reinforce those because I did use those little tie backs, but when I was carrying one outside, one of them actually popped off. So I feel like I'm going to have to put another one on there. But I thought, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this twine and wrap it around, and I'll show you how I do that once I get that in here. So we've got our garland to put on there. We've got a bow for that. Then we've got a little arrangement for a basket that will also have some excelsior or moss, whatever you decide to purchase. And maybe I'll add these two if I feel like it's not too much. And then we've got, for the other basket, we're going to add this. And I can use, if I have excelsior, I can use more of that in there. Or I can use some raffia that I can cut up and just tuck in there. And then just put these on top. And you'll see how that will look. And then I also have my sign, and as you recall, I said that I wanted to maybe shorten the sign, so I'll probably do it from the back. I'll pull it and then just make a knot to shorten it, so it's just barely enough to grab onto the 2 hooks that are on there. And that's it, you guys. So we'll be back, and I'll have the rack here, and I'll go ahead and get started putting some of this, and then I'll save one of them so you can see how I do it. All right, everyone, I've got my little ladder here, and it is finished and dried. Well, not finished, but it is dry. And I've got some more little spots to do on here. As far as this rope is concerned, I've gone ahead and I've taken the twine and I've wrapped it around on each of these, on each side. And I've wrapped one of the bottoms here with the twine as well as I have done here at the top. Now I've pretty much finished it all. I still need to do this one spot here and then also the little foot. This is super easy. I'm going to turn it so that we're looking at the back of it. What I did is I just put some hot glue running up the length that I wanted this to, as high as I wanted this to go up the leg. And I put down a piece of the twine on there, and then from there I just grabbed it and then glued it right there, and then just started twisting it around until it is covered. And in some places you have to kind of overlap because these twines, they can have like really thick spots, and then there's some really thin spots. So you kind of have to overlap over it, especially when you're getting down to this little particular piece of the broomstick, because this is where it's screwed in. So it's just a little bit less width than it is up here. So you kind of have to build it up with the rope. You don't have to, but if you wanted to, kind of look even, then you do that. Okay, so when you're getting close to the end, I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece like that. When we're getting close to the end, we start putting some hot glue because we don't want this unraveling, especially because it's at the bottom. So I'm going to get that glue on there all the way around and overlap this last bit over the other pieces, like so, and then just get that glue on there. And then I'm just going to put some on top of that little end to seal it up. And there we go, that's it. Okay, so now over here, let's put this right, let me move my phone over here. This little spot right here, that hasn't been done, like these other sides have been done. So again, you're going to take the end of the rope, and you're just going to wrap it around this part here, the side of the ladder, and tie it on. Make a knot. I feel like I'm going to knock over my drink. Let me get that out of the way. Okay. So then I also put, let me get some more glue in there. Right in here, this little metal part here, and between this and this little metal part that belongs to this, I put some glue in there. So I push some glue in there, and now I gotta do some on the other side. And then I also put some on these little bits here where the tie backs, you know, where they're inserted in there, and that's where I snipped it, just to make sure, because I did mention that a couple of them did come out or did pop off. And then there's little bits of wire. This is the second one that I find here, little drip of wire. So I'm gonna snip that off. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking this rope and I'm going through here, around, and then over and under and through here again, around and over and under and through, and I just keep repeating that till I've got a nice coverage of that front part there. And then I'm just going to turn it around so I can look at it and make sure all this front part is being covered, and it is. Alright, so now when I get to this point and I want to go down to the next one, all it is was go over and then come this way and go in, so we can lock that little rope that comes straight down like that across, or you could snip it and then tie it onto this other end or glue it down, and then start again by, you know, getting the end and tying it over here. But you could just do it this way. Let me go through it a couple of times and then over a couple of times too. Do it however you want, as long as you get it all wrapped up. Okay, let me get it closer to myself so I don't have to be reaching, especially after I hurt myself. Okay, I think that's good enough. I'm going to go ahead and cut it a little long. I'm going to turn it around this way, excuse me, like that, so that I can look at it. I'm going to take this end and then just kind of, with this other little end that's over here, I'm going to knot it. And it doesn't matter what it looks like from behind, but you can do a much neater job if you want. I'm at the point where I just want to finish this. And I like the way that it looks, kind of like a little bit of a mess. And I'm just putting some glue here. Not a mess, but I guess I want to just say kind of organically done, you know. You're out on the ranch somewhere, on a farm somewhere, and you're just making a little ladder. So you're just trying to get it tied up really nice and well. You're not really paying attention to, does this look really pretty or not? But it does. Look at that. That looks really pretty. My lighting is not as good as it was earlier because it's nighttime now. Okay, so now we want to put our little decorations. And on this one here, I had this little string here where I can hang it from, and it was actually longer. But I pulled it from the back, and then I decided how tight I wanted it to be, and I knotted it, and where I knotted it, then I put some glue, and then I glued this down so it wouldn't be dangling around. This is going to go on the very top rungs here, or on the very top hook of this rung here, like that. That looks pretty. Let me get my drink. I'm going to knock it over. Okay, so this is just like that. You don't have to glue it down. You don't have to do any of that because this can be taken off, like I said, and you will redecorate this little ladder for Christmas or for any other occasion. And if you decide that maybe you don't want this and you want to put like a little mini wreath on here, you can hang it on there instead, or add another little basket and put some little towels and use this in your little bathroom or your big bathroom. Okay, but there we go. We're going to do the next one, and we've got little baskets for these, which I also painted. They're also just going to get hung on there like that. The other one here, and they're going to get hung on there like that. So then I can take my little floral arrangement. As you can see, this is actually deeper than my arrangement, but that's okay. I'm going to take my raffia, and I'm going to cut just like that, and just throw it in there, and then toss this in there as well. Is this my front? Yeah. I get a little confused. Okay. Put that in there. And then we're going to actually put some Excelsior in there as well, which is this one right here. And we want to put this in front to cover the raffia. And at this point, if you want to just grab some more greenery and add some in there, that would be nice. And I think I'm going to do that. So that's what I wanted to do with that. And I can take the other bits of Excelsior, put them in this one. This little bit here, probably wouldn't throw them in there because they're just going to fall through the basket. So let's just get rid of that. The floor there because I'm going to sweep it all up. Okay, so now these little leftover bits here of raffia, I can also open them up and throw them in there if I wish. You don't have to. You don't have to do all of this. It's up to you. Wouldn't it be cute to put some little faux chicken eggs in there? Put this in the kitchen. Or some faux breads or little pastries. Okay, you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand this up now, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to finish decorating it as it is standing on the floor. That way we can make sure that nothing falls out, because I am not permanently attaching anything to it because I want to be able to interchange it. So this is going to be difficult doing it this way with it standing. I'm also going to get some more of my greenery and stick some more here in the front just to fill my arrangement up a little bit more. I have a few more of the sunflowers, so I might just do that as well. So I will be back, and we're going to see it standing up. Alright, as you can see here, I've got the little basket here and the one at the bottom with the little flowers. I didn't know where I wanted to put each one, but I do like the way it is right now. I've got this little, I was going to say snowman, but he's a little scarecrow. I'm going to put him in this little basket, let him rest in there. Let's fix up the raffia so he's nestled in there. And I think I'm just going to take a couple of pumpkins, or maybe just one. Let's see. This one's a little big. I think this one's good. I'm going to put this one pumpkin next to him. You can slide them over a little bit. Put the pumpkin right there. Alright, and I've got the bow and the garland. So we're not going to use these. But you certainly could put them all in there if you don't have a little scarecrow. You can put all these. Maybe I could just go ahead and put one more. This one, right in there. And you kind of have to move the raffia around so that it doesn't kind of like spring up and push things out, which is what's kind of wanting to happen there. Okay, so I've got my garland that I made. And remember I told you that I wanted this to kind of drape around here. So I'm going to drape it over here. And then I'm going to bring it around to hold it right there. And I think I'll just bring it through here and bring it back out. And just put it like that. There we go. wrap behind like that. That looks really pretty. And then we can finish it off with a bow. And you don't have to put the bow on if you don't feel like you need that on there. That's maybe a little too much for you. Some of you think, you know, less is more, so that's fine. I like to be able to do things with less is more as well, but sometimes when it comes to seasonal items, I do like to put a little bit extra into them because, you know, it's the holidays and we want it to be festive. Okay, so I'm just wrapping this around the side post here as well, and just making sure that the pretty printed side is upward, and then you kind of like crinkle it as you go. Crinkle the little tail, puff up your bow, just like that. Okay, so there we go. There's our little ladder. Isn't it cute? I think it's absolutely cute. And like I said, it's interchangeable. You can take everything off and decorate it a different way. And if you want, this can be left white, or you can go ahead and touch it up with some spray paint wherever you have put the tie backs if you don't want to put any of the rope. But I do suggest that you do that, and if you don't like that rope, you can use a pretty yarn, you can use an embroidery floss, or use a thin ribbon to wrap around, and I think that looks really, really pretty. Alright everyone, there's my project. Let's take a look at it in a better way. Oh, let's see. I've also got these little wheat bits, and I knew there was a reason why I left my wire cutters out. So, trim this off. And stick one on each side here of my arrangement. And I moved the raffia around a little bit and the excelsior to kind of cover the sides. I didn't have enough, so make sure that you get yourself enough, especially the excelsior. I had used it for another project, so I didn't have very much left. Excuse myself as I crossed over. But anyway, just get yourself enough of the excelsior to fill in that and fill in the top if you don't have raffia. I think the excelsior works a little bit better to cover like an arrangement like that at the bottom. So let's take a look at it one last time. You guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here because, as I explained earlier, I fell down and hurt myself. So I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. Give me a sympathy thumbs up, if anything, because I'm in a lot of pain. Alright everyone, subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit that notification bell. I put videos up every Tuesday and every Friday, and once in a while that little sound was my chair, not me. Okay, but anyway, I put up, once in a while I put up a weekend vlog. So leave a nice comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. Are you going to try this out? I think it's a great idea, you guys. It also makes for some nice light storage of some items. Unless you use some E6000 or some super glue to get this on there. Not the glue gun like I did, but use some really good glue that you trust to get these little hooks on there. And remember, you can make this a little bit wider using 3 little hooks if you want, or just the 2. I think the 4 would be a little too wide for the length of these broomsticks. So I think this is perfect the way it is for me. So just let me know what you think, and make sure you share on your social medias. And as always, enjoy.